What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode here on Reload Crypto. Today we're going to be jumping into the layer 2 on Bitcoin known as Stacks network. They got some pretty big updates coming out, and I personally think that this is some news that if you're not aware of, you should be. So we're going to go ahead and jump in. I'm going to tell you all about it, and I think you guys are going to like what you hear. So first of all, what is Stacks, right? So we're here on their homepage. Stacks basically enables DeFi on Bitcoin. So obviously we know Bitcoin is technically a layer 1, but there's no smart contract capability on Bitcoin. So that leaves it in a place where, you can, it's similar to Caspa. You can send Bitcoin back and forth, but unlike Ethereum, there's no possibility for dApps to be built on it or anything like that. So Stacks is, I believe, the first solution that came out to fix that. So they do have the first mover advantage in that regard. But let's go ahead and jump into it. So they claim they have fast transactions, full Bitcoin finality, and they have access to the $1 trillion Bitcoin economy. Some recent news: Tim Draper, I guess, is leading a round, $3.5 million round for 6-employee startup behind Bitcoin lending. I guess this is called Zest. Axelar is now integrated with Stacks to bridge Bitcoin across over 65 blockchains. Stacks did a hackathon at Harvard, it looks like. And the first Bitcoin-backed synthetic dollar is planned to launch here, I guess, sometime soon with 25% yield. So we'll see how that goes. That doesn't sound like it's very sustainable. But that being said, so they're saying why Bitcoin? Of course, the security of Bitcoin, Bitcoin being one of the most secure networks that's out there. Adoption, so obviously the Bitcoin network is the most well-known cryptocurrency in existence, and it's untapped, they say. So it's untapped from the standpoint that there is no, well, when they came out, there was no other smart contract capability or DeFi layer or any type of, ecosystem around Bitcoin aside from Bitcoin itself, like we said. So they do have quite the ecosystem here on Stacks in terms of dApps that are building on the network. So we're going to go ahead and look at this new upgrade that they have coming out. This upgrade is called the Nakamoto upgrade. So they've just recently announced that they're going to be doing this new upgrade. Basically, they have explained the reasons why they're doing this Nakamoto upgrade, but they claim that it will provide faster block times, 100% Bitcoin finality, a new era of Bitcoin use cases, and it will unlock the Bitcoin economy. So obviously, they have kind of already unlocked the Bitcoin economy, but I did read through some of the documents here for this Nakamoto upgrade, and it is quite interesting. So what is the Nakamoto upgrade? The Nakamoto release is an upcoming hard fork on the Stacks network. A hard fork is basically they are, they're stopping the one version of the network that's currently running, and they're beginning a new one. So at Bitcoin block 840,360, that will be the start of the multi-phase Nakamoto mainnet rollout. So the current design with Stacks, I guess, inherently has some problems. So slow Bitcoin blocks leads to slow finality for transaction. They had issues where the chain would fork, and they were having issues with the miners and the finality with them. So it looks like the Stacks forks that when the chain would fork previously, it would no longer be tied to the Bitcoin fork, so it was causing some issues there. They were having issues with poorly connected miners, and some Bitcoin miners that were running their own Stacks miners and deliberately excluding other Stacks miners from the Bitcoin blocks. So they were basically trying to make sure that they got the Stacks block as well as the Bitcoin block. So some, malicious activity going on there. So it looks like in order to address these issues, the Nakamoto update applies 3 fundamental changes to the way that Stacks works. So they're doing faster blocks. I guess they're going to speed that up somehow, probably through their own validator network. Bitcoin finality: once a transaction is confirmed, reversing it is at least as hard as reversing a Bitcoin transaction. So basically impossible. And then Bitcoin miner MEV resistance. So that MEV is maximum extractable value, which essentially is, there's several ways to do it, but the miners order transactions in such a way so that they can profit. So the Nakamoto design changes quite a few things here on Stacks to fix all of these issues that we're having, or that they were having. You can come check it out here in the Stacks documentation. I will link this in the description below. So let's take a look at the Stacks ecosystem. So in their ecosystem, they have quite a few dApps providing DeFi, wallets, all sorts of different things. So we're going to look here real quick. This Alex protocol is one that I've actually spoke about before to some people. It's a open source DeFi protocol on Bitcoin, which is pretty interesting. This Arcadico is a open source protocol that mints a stable coin generating Bitcoin yield. So this must be the one that we just read about on their homepage there. As well as some of these other apps here. They are working with NFTs, helping with ordinals and the BRC20 new kind of token craze. So, and then of course you see here, this is the Zest protocol, which is the lending and borrowing protocol that we had just spoken about. So pretty interesting. They do have quite a few dApps that are already on their network. It looks like they are likely, incentivizing more builders to come build on their network. So I imagine that this will just continue to grow. As we know, there have been a lot of new Bitcoin layer 2s that are launching. But like I said, Stacks does have that first mover advantage, and they do have quite a bit of activity already on their network. So the way that staking works on the Stacks network, they actually call it stacking, pun, I guess, intended there. And how that works is the stackers are essentially the validators. So you can stack in a pool. Obviously, if you don't want to have your own hardware and be a validator, they have liquid stacking through these two different dApps that are already on Stacks network. They offer for institutions and large holders. They have custody offerings for stacking. And then here with Leather Wallet or Lock Stacks, you can, stack independently, essentially like a solo staker on Ethereum would, and run your own signer node. So pretty interesting that they have all these different ways for you to stack your stacks, and you earn your yield in Bitcoin, not Stacks tokens. So I do think that that's pretty interesting. That is a kind of a neat incentive if people are earning Bitcoin as opposed to Stacks tokens. That is, quite the incentive to want to stack your Stacks tokens. Here we have a page about, this is sBTC. So sBTC is Stacks Bitcoin. It's I guess it's their version of like wrapped BTC, so to speak. So on their network here, you obviously have Bitcoin security through Stacks Bitcoin, open and decentralized, censorship resistant. They also have the ability for you to swap back and forth between sBTC and stablecoins on their network. So if you're holding sBTC, there's a period of volatility, you want to trade out of it, you can swap right into stablecoins on Stacks using likely, dApps like Alex protocol or any of the other DeFi applications that are on Stacks. So pretty interesting here using sBTC. They have like I had said, Bitcoin DeFi. You could scale ordinals, scale BRC20 tokens, managing risk, lending and borrowing, and trust minimized asset swapping. So this is a way essentially where you can get in and out of Bitcoin, and you could participate in DeFi without having to go through centralized exchanges or third parties, which is pretty interesting and actually, quite the use case that would interest a lot of people, I believe. So there are some frequently asked questions here on the website. I will link this as well in the description below if you want to take a closer look at that. So here we have another page, explore the technology for Stacks. So learn what's possible with Stacks layer for Bitcoin. So they are bringing NFTs to Bitcoin, like we had said before. I imagine that's through ordinals, and now this new runes application. of course, Bitcoin DeFi, and they do also have the blockchain naming system. So this is similar to Ethereum name service, where you can create your own BNS name, and you have the security of Bitcoin backing that. So pretty cool. Essentially, it's the same thing as if you were to have an ENS name, where you can use your BNS as an address, to send and receive assets, and log in to different protocols and whatnot. So pretty interesting stuff. I will also link this tab below in the description for you. Stacks works off a proof of transfer consensus mechanism. This allows Stacks to settle transactions to Bitcoin. So the unique relationship allows builders to leverage and extend Bitcoin's powers without modifying Bitcoin itself. Because all Stacks transactions settle on Bitcoin, they benefit from Bitcoin's security. POX also has sustainability benefits, such as using electricity, obviously, that's already been used for Bitcoin miners. They're basically recycling that to secure Stacks as a network as well. So quite interesting there. Then, of course, they have this clarity here for mining and stacking to kind of explain how this whole process works, how their consensus mechanism works, by working with existing Bitcoin miners, and how that all kind of is settled on the Bitcoin blockchain itself. So quite interesting. They also do claim that using their code language, which is called Clarity, users are able to, see all of the information on chain prior to interacting with a contract, interacting with a dApp, and they can also set conditions that must be true when the contract finishes running. So let's say you interact with a contract and you're going to sign a transaction and you want a certain set of rules to apply. You could set those rules before signing the transaction, and when you do sign the transaction, if those conditions that you have set aren't how it will end, then it will abort the transaction, which is actually a really good security feature. It can prevent, phishing. It can prevent, slippage or over slippage, I suppose, and all types of different applications here for safety of users, which is quite good to see here. And then they have an explanation here about the Stacks token. Obviously, that's just a token for their network, so not too much to really explain there. So I will also link this in the description below. Here we are on the Stacks roadmap. So it looks like the previous year is not showing here, but here we are on this current year, Q1. Well, this is last year, Q1 2023. Looks like they got through all that, but we now are here on the Nakamoto release. So this rollout is initiating on April 22nd. That's of this year, and they're expecting it to be finished sometime in August. So there will be some time between when they initiate the rollout, obviously, to when it is complete, but that's good to make sure there's no bugs or any issues with that, and the network will continue to run as usual. So I guess with the Nakamoto release, that's what will allow for sBTC to be used on Stacks network. So that's a pretty big update. I imagine when that comes out, or when that is complete, that there will be a lot of noise around that in the crypto ecosystem in general. So pretty interesting to be ahead of the curve on that. And then, of course, sBTC will activate the $1.3 trillion worth of Bitcoin TVL, so to speak, the market cap of Bitcoin. People will now be able to use that in DeFi on the Stacks network. So since we're talking about DeFi, let's go ahead and take a look at Stacks here on DeFi Llama. So the total value locked is starting to grow over the last few months here. Obviously, with the drawdown in the market, we have seen it kind of start to fall down a little bit, but it does look like it's kind of leveled out here. Right where we're at, around $100 million, $110 million. So we will likely see that start to grow again. It looks like its all-time high was around $190 million. Over the coming weeks and months, I imagine, as their Nakamoto upgrade comes out and DeFi becomes easier on the chain, we will start to see that total value locked start to grow. So the volume, 24-hour volume in their DeFi is not that great. currently. But again, this is something that once it starts to get some adoption, I think that it will really start to pick up. Obviously, there are some competitors now to Stacks as a chain, but I believe that since they are the first mover, and I believe that they're really innovating in the space of Bitcoin layer 2s, I think that they will likely be kind of the winner takes most when it comes to Bitcoin layer 2s. So that just about wraps this up. If you did find this interesting, I would love it if you dropped a like on the video. That would really be awesome. And subscribe. We're going to do more of these. If there's a coin that you want to see me break down, let me know in the comments, and I will do a video on it. I know that a couple of you have asked about Hedera, so I am taking some time to learn a little bit more about Hedera, but I will have a video coming out on that soon. And, you know, anything else that you guys want to see, just let me know, and I'm open to doing, you know, pretty much whatever. So again, hope you enjoyed the video. Really good time here with you guys today. I'm looking forward to the future as this channel grows, as this bull run continues to ramp up. We're all going to crush it. So thanks so much for joining me here today, and I will see you guys in the next one. Take care and have a good one.